What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Paulizay Talks. I'm Paulizay Anthony, and today I have a power-packed message to deliver to you, right? This here was something that I had learned and implemented immediately, and I felt like I had to share it with y'all as soon as possible. And I'm just gonna get right into it, right? Because the number one thing to talk about is where you're going, right? This message pertains to where you're going, right? Where you're going and how to get there. We always want to get to a certain place in our life, right? We always want to get to a certain place in our life, but we don't necessarily understand how to get to that place, right? So I'm going to help you to understand what it takes and what it means to be in the position that you desire, the position that you see yourself in for the long run, right? I know for me that I've been working diligently to be in the position that I'm in today, and looking back on where I started and looking where I am now, it's a world of difference, like a complete 360. But I'm not gonna dilly-dally any longer. I'm just gonna give it to you straight, just like this. So, here we goes. Because you're not willing to go through what it feels like, you're not qualified to get what it looks like. If you're not willing to go through what it feels like, you're not qualified to get what it looks like, right? Coming at you straight, like fire, with straight fire. So what does that mean? If you're not qualified, if you're not willing to go through what it feels like, you're not qualified to get what it looks like. Now, most times you go online and you see all of these influencers and you see people that you really admire a lot, and they live a certain kind of lifestyle. And you can see and visualize yourself living that type of lifestyle too, right? But for some reason, you always say, well, maybe it's not for me because I'm not that person, right? Like I can't do what that person does. And the absolute truth of that is you can do exactly what that person does and better. The only difference between you and a person that's living a certain lifestyle is the consistency behind it. See, most times we're doing something, right? But as soon as we hit a wall, or as soon as certain emotions come up, we revert back to our old way of thinking or our old way of living, because that's what we're comfortable with. Now, when you start to do certain things, it's gonna take you out of your comfort zone because it's transitioning you into the life that you desire so much. But in order to get to that life, you have to go through all of the emotions. You have to go through every single emotion when it comes down to what it is that you're trying to achieve. How do you expect to get and maintain something if you're not equipped to handle it? That's like lifting a certain amount of weight, but you haven't built up the strength to pick that weight up, right? It takes time to build up to that level. You have to start where you are now with what you have and then work your way up. And the beautiful thing about that is, even though it may seem like nothing's happening, or it may seem like you're alone in whatever it is that you're doing, you're never alone, because the universe is always delivering to you aids, people, whatever it is required to help you to get to that next level. But first, you have to prove that you are worthy of that next level. That's literally it. You have to say, okay, this is where I want to be in life, and then you execute what it takes to get to that point in life, and the universe will reward you for that. It sounds simple, yes, but anything that sounds simple typically isn't that simple. Like, for instance, with this, it may seem simple enough to just hit record and just go on and do whatever it is that you do, but the number one obstacle you got to get over is being uncomfortable in front of a camera. And I know that there are so many people who have so many great messages and so much to offer to the world, but because they're so shy and they're not willing to get past that shyness and just hit record, a lot of those messages go unheard, right? A lot of those messages go unheard because people aren't willing to put themselves in an uncomfortable predicament that could literally change not only their lives, but it could change the trajectory the trajectory of someone else's life as well, right? So it comes to a point where you realize that what it is that you do is not just necessarily about you at that point, right? It's about what can you do to serve others. One thing that I talk about a lot, is meditation. And if you're interested in that, you can go check out my TikTok and my Instagram for more information pertaining to meditation and self-development. But the number one thing that I always talk about is meditation. I always say that meditation is my foundation because it's the first thing that I was consistent with. And because I was consistent with that and still consistent with it today, I can be consistent in other aspects of my life because I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to do something first when you're first starting out, and it's like you're getting nowhere. It seems like you're not progressing. It just seems like you're wasting your time. And you're going through all the emotions because people are telling you that you need to stop, you need to go and do this and do that and XYZ. But once you're consistent enough with something and you stick with it, that consistency pays off because it's not necessarily about you mastering what it is that you're doing. It's about managing your mind. It's about managing your time. It's about becoming a master of your thoughts. Literally, consistency can change your entire life. And it doesn't matter too much, although it does, about what it is that you're doing. If you're able to be consistent with it, you can be consistent with anything. The best example I can give you is, for me, a job, right? The job that I currently work. At first, I was bad at it, right? I wasn't the greatest, but I stayed consistent and I got better. Now, that doesn't mean that I've mastered what it is that I do. I still got a lot to learn, but I stayed consistent with it. Going back to meditation, though, when I first started, I would do 2, maybe 5 minutes a day. And most days, it didn't even feel like I was doing anything because if I would sit still, whatever, I'd be going to sleep. I'd fall asleep or I just wouldn't feel anything. But the more I kept doing it, the longer it got because now 5 minutes wasn't even enough. I was like, what? That was it? Because now I began to understand what it was doing to me. I began to notice the transformation that was happening within me. And it made me more and more consistent. And it essentially transformed my entire life because I knew that I could be consistent with this. So now it was only a matter of time before everything else that I was consistent with is just gonna start coming into my life, and I could be able to execute so effortlessly and so easily because I've done the work, I've done the practice, I went through all the emotions. Now it's time to reap the benefits of my rewards, right? Another note too that I'm gonna leave you with as well is, and it pertains to this, discipline overrides emotion when you work it. That's another aspect too. Discipline overrides emotion when you work it. So discipline and consistency go hand in hand because once you built up the consistency, now you have discipline. Because it's one thing to be consistent, but when you're disciplined at it, oh man, you can do anything. It doesn't matter what nobody tells you. It doesn't matter where you are. Your discipline will always kick in every moment. And some days, I'll be honest, some days I don't feel like recording. I don't feel like doing anything, but that discipline kicks in and I just do it automatically because I've built that habit up. Even when it comes to meditation, some days I wake up late and I don't want to meditate, but I do anyway. It doesn't matter how late it is. I still do that because it is a consistent daily routine for me. And I've built up the habit so much to where it doesn't even feel right if I don't do it. So you have to develop these good habits that feel weird when you don't do them, right? Imagine having a habit that you've been doing for so long that when you actually stop, you're like, wait a minute, something's not right. Usually I'm doing this around this time, right? And that's beautiful because no matter where you go in the world, you're always going to carry that with you. And you can literally make a home anywhere you go because you have the discipline and you have the consistency. And people are attracted to that too. People are attracted to other people who are disciplined and consistent with whatever it is that they're doing. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's something that they're into. They're enticed by the fact that you are just consistent with it. Because most people can't even stay focused for 5 minutes on one project. Most people can't do it. But you were able to do something that a lot of people wish they could do. It's not necessarily your career. It's not necessarily your business. They like the fact that you're doing this every single day and you never falter and you never fold. You always stick to what it is that you believe to be true and you never fold on that. Now they only have two options in this case. They can either listen to you and get with the message, or they can just go and find something else to do. Either way, you're not gonna stop doing what it is that you do. So that's it. That's it. I'm gonna say it to you one more time. Because you're not willing to go through what it feels like, you're not qualified to get what it looks like. So work hard and get qualified for the things that you want out of life. And that's all I got for you today. I hope this was able to help you. I hope I was able to add some value. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for allowing me to be on this journey with you. I believe that we do better when we grow together, so let's continue to grow with one another. As always, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified whenever I publish another video. And if you like this kind of content, then go check it out on my TikTok page at Paula Zay Anthony and my Instagram at Paula Zay Anthony as well. And also, if you like the merch, if you like the hoodies, if you like the hats, boom, boom, you see the hat? You like it? Go and get you some. InMyPurpose.com. The link will be in the description. We have so many different options for so many different people. And the message behind it, anything's possible, is literally just that. Anything is possible. It's a mindset. It's an affirmation. When you tell yourself that in any case, in anything that you're doing, it affirms to your mind that I can do this. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, confused, if you're feeling like, yo, how do I get to the next level? Just remember that anything is possible. Anything is possible. There's really no set way in how you're going to reach the next level. And maybe you can't even see how you're going to reach the next level. But when you put it in your mind that anything is possible, you get to work, you execute, and things will start to happen in your life in ways that you never expected. So yeah, if you like the merch, go and get you some. And that's it. That's all I got for you. And we'll close it out with this. May you be creators and creative. May you be loved and loved. May you be present. May you be free. And may you be abundant at all times. Ashe. Peace.